Now we're going to move on to another exciting panel session. And the following session will be on a discussion on how innovators can leverage government resources to advance the tech industry, exploring initiatives like Raise Plus, university ventures, investment funds, and industry support schemes. Well, from the speeches of our previous speakers just now, you may also know already, Hong Kong does not only have an excellent location and advantage to tap into the GBA, but also to the global market. And now let's learn about how the government is supporting us. First of all, please welcome our moderator for the session, Mr. Kenny Ho, partner, NextGen Partners, to join us on stage. Next, we're delighted to welcome Mr. Kelvin Wong, Director, Knowledge Transfer and Entrepreneurship Office, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Let's welcome. Now may we invite on stage Ms. Floria Chan, Head of Marketing, Ecosystem and Partnership, Beyond Ventures. Next, may we have Ms. Joyce Ng, Managing Director and Chief Investment Officer, CUHK Innovation Limited. Welcome. On the panel, we also have Mr. Hendrick, CNMH, Chairman, Cyberport Investors Network, CIN Steering Group, Co-founder and Vice Chairman, CMGE Technology Group Limited, Founding Partner, China Prosperity Capital. Welcome, Hendrick. And of course, please welcome the Honorable Duncan Chiu, Council Member, Technology and Innovation, Hong Kong SAR Legislative Council. Welcome. All right, when our panel members are ready, over to you, Kelvin.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Kenny O, and I'm the moderator for this panel. I'm a partner from AEF NextGen Fund. So just starting with a quick introduction of our panelists here. So to my left, Duncan, excuse me, council member of the Hong Kong SAR Legislative Council. He's the leading advocate of local T&I policies, a tech entrepreneur, and a veteran investor. Hendrick is the founder of CMGE Technology Group, the largest IP-oriented mobile game publisher in China. He's also the founding partner of China Prosperity Capital Fund, a leading venture capital investment company focusing on technology investments. Joyce, to his left, is Managing Director and Chief Investment Officer of CUHK Innovation. She was also Investment Director of Cyberport Macro Fund and Managing Director at Our Crowd before that. And then Floria joined Beyond Ventures in 2017, the same year the firm was founded, and is responsible for partnership build-up, marketing, post-deal management, investor relations, and human resources. And last but not least, we have Kelvin, Director of Knowledge Transfer and Entrepreneurship Office. Kelvin oversees IP management, commercialization, consultancy services, industrial partnerships, startup investments, innovation, and entrepreneur development at Hong Kong PU. So welcome, panelists. Just to get started, and to give our audience a sense, we have heard a lot about programs like Raise Plus, university ventures, government-led investment funds, and programs like that. How do they specifically support startups and entrepreneurs in Hong Kong? Perhaps we can start with Joyce.
Yeah, sure. So maybe let me start. We manage a university-backed, obviously the Chinese university-backed early stage fund. So since our official launch last year, we have been focusing 99% our effort on Raise Plus scheme. Just to give everyone more background about the scheme, the government is actually matching up to 100 million Hong Kong dollar per project in order to support R&D commercialization coming from the 8 universities in Hong Kong. So obviously, this scale is much bigger than any other typical fund matching program previously. That's why we actually act as a bridge between the commercial or institutional investor with the academia. So we actually, it was first launched last year, and then we have actually seen quite significant pickup in interest from the academia and scientist side. about commercializing the R&D efforts and also more actively engage in spin-off companies. So as you may be aware, early this year, the government announced 24 projects got awarded first round. And then second round will be due next week, actually. So we're very much looking forward to what new projects are coming out from that background. So from our side, we have actually seen funding initiatives from the government, including the GPs from the Hong Kong Investment Corp, as well as ITVF co-investment partner, or funds who are positioning for these initiatives trickle down to early stage projects from the university. And definitely our university startup companies are directly benefiting from these schemes.
Thank you, Joyce. Floria, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, sure. I echo with what Joyce said. Our company is also involved a lot in the Raise Plus program. But apart from that, I would like to share more about the ITVF, Innovation, Technology and Venture Fund. I believe this program is one of the earliest and the most successful government startup initiative launched in 2017. Well, it is 2 billion Hong Kong dollars fund intended to invest in local startups alongside with selected VCs in a matching ratio of 1:2. Government is only the passive investors. They rely heavily on their VC partners to refer projects to them. As long as they can meet the requirements from ITVFs, basically, they can get the investments. So Beyond Ventures was one of the first batch co-investment partners to ITVF. Well, in fact, we believe the program can actually encourage VCs like Beyond Ventures to help them to walk through the risks, right? Because investing in Hong Kong startup could be taking a little bit high risk. So the program encourages them to take additional risks on this so that they can be more willing to do so. So far, I think Beyond Ventures invested in over 15 projects out of the 54 projects from the ITVF co-investment, and some of them become SaaS, e-commerce, and family robots. And I think the programs can really help the startups quite very much. I think one of the startups told me that the funding from ITVF can really help them to walk through the depth of valley. Yeah, because with the funding, they can launch their product and they can generate revenue and they can also have some market expansion, development, and so on, so that they can secure the subsequent funding later on from a tier one VCs. So I think all these initiatives can really help the startups along the way.
Thank you, Floria. Just to zoom out to look at the macro environment a little bit more, how do you think the government policies influence the development of the tech sector, and whether there is any sort of feedback mechanism that will allow the government to fine-tune these policies over time? Maybe Duncan, would you mind to shed some light on that for us?
Yeah, I think I might have a long answer for your question, but I mean, adding to the program we just mentioned, the Raise Plus, which I shouldn't comment too much as I'm the chairman of the funding committee, and that's aimed to bridge the commercialization of university research, where we actually have 5 top 100 universities in Hong Kong. We do really have some really good professors in Hong Kong. We just announced the top 2% professors in the world, and I think in many different disciplines we have many good professors, top professors in Hong Kong. So just how to leverage the research work into commercialization project is the Raise Plus program. And then we have ITVF, which came out in 2017, if I got it correct. So this is the time when we actually think, the government should go from minimal intervention to, helping with bringing more capital into the market. I think in the first panel we mentioned about, a few years back, people think, it should be all minimum intervention and just let the business sector do the work. But in the end, we find out it's not just Silicon Valley. Project could come out from anywhere. Teams could be, talent should be everywhere in the world. So, how do we leverage these people to put the effort and time into building startups and building technology? Government should fill the gap So that's the first time, in 2017 when government come up with the IT venture fund to leverage private funds into the market landscape. And starting from that, there were other programs from Cyberport, Science Park, etc. And then we have the Raise Plus. And I'm happy to just add that, one program that I've been advocating for more than 2 years, the IT-oriented fund, which Secretary Dong just mentioned this morning. We just come up with the 10 billion new investments, new money from the government, where it will leverage more private investors into the system. Because apart from government granting out, subsidies and funds to help startups, to help youngsters to, chase the dream and, build technology, help the universities to come up with new programs and leverage the research work, we definitely need the private sector. We definitely need the professional investors to help pick winner, to help actually educate these startups. So with the new 10 billion oriented fund, hopefully, that have to go through LegCo, and that will have multiple effect in bringing in new professional investors into the system. So I think this has started from 2017, where the government started this direction that we have to promote technology and we have to do more things to, bridge the gap, and, the government have to be the leader in, initiating fundings and bring professionals into the systems. And these are all evolving.
Got it. Thank you. What about the mechanisms that the government could utilize to receive feedback and sort of fine-tune their policies over time?
You can talk to me anytime. So I do feedback, and from LegCo, our work is to give directions and suggest recommendations to government. I do have not just me, but many other LegCo members. We do have very close conversation with various departments, and there are still things to do. I mean, like what we mentioned, things are ever changing. But at least I'm happy to see that in the policy address, the long-term direction for now for supporting tech, putting more investments despite this economic environment is still there. So I think with the current government, we have a strong direction in promoting, really building up the tech in Hong Kong, and that's a long-term commitment for the government. So in terms of getting feedback, of course, Cyberport is also the government-owned entity, so they shoulder a lot of the responsibility, but also a member like us. Imperial, I think we're free to criticize any shortcomings in the policies, and I will also do some consultation. I have one in November 1st. Please feel free to join. So I have the industry feedback to the policy address, and then I will have Secretary also present there, and so that we can provide these ideas back. Yeah,
that's great. Thank you. Now, picking up on your point about the current economic situation. Now, just given that the structure of Hong Kong's economy has been changing, can you talk a little bit about how the role of the government has also been evolving in their support of innovation and entrepreneurship in Hong Kong? Maybe perhaps Hendrick could talk about that.
Thank you. I think the government has done a lot in the last few years. The latest statistics is they have put in over 200 billion Hong Kong dollars into various INT initiatives. I think Duncan and our friends here have talked about Raise Plus, ITVF, and the funds of funds. Actually, I and Duncan has advocated a lot on this one because I personally have participated in the Shenzhen Funds of Fund, and that really bring a lot of fundings into the Shenzhen market, and this is groundbreaking. I think we want to see that in Hong Kong, and this is something I think is coming, and we are expecting very positive results, and a lot more as you can see, Hong Kong. And in terms of AI, in Cyberport here, there's an AI supercomputing center. There's a $3 billion subsidy scheme, right? In Cyberport also, we have a digital transformation scheme, which is also 500 million. So a lot of money being poured into the sector. I think Duncan and I have a lot of feelings on that because it's unlike before. I think the last, after 2019, I think there are a lot of changes on the positive side. So I see this is not just money. I think we have attracted a lot of talents, a lot of good companies, startups, big companies like by the government Oasis office. They have also do case-by-case negotiation, and we see the ecosystem being built up. And also closer cooperation with China. And I personally has also helped a little bit as a deputy to the National People's Congress. For example, the Hetao, I think in Hong Kong and in China, Shenzhen, there's a government actually dialogue from the high-level officials on a very much regular basis on how to make closer cooperation on a lot of areas. For example, on the more free flow of people, goods, fundings, as well as information. How in this area, which is sort of in the middle of Shenzhen and Hong Kong, how a lot of new policies can be applied. So I think the spring has come. I think the government is very understanding that INT drive the next generation of growth in Hong Kong, alongside with other areas like finance. But I think we are just at the starting point. And all these good LegCo members like Duncan has been pushing a lot of good initiatives. And I think there will be more coming, and I'm hopeful to see that.
That's great, thank you. Kelvin, would you like to share your views with us?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm glad to be here, and also all my friends, Duncan and Hendrick, and also Joyce and Floria. So I share a little bit my view, especially coming from university. So our mission to translate all the research output to commercialize, to implement. So capital is one of the very important elements in this January. So I believe that I really echo all the speakers what they just said. So recently, so government put a lot of the efforts, especially provide different fundings, not only in the investment but also the funding support in a grant approach to given to the universities. So as you know, university is a very most of the project is very early stage. So we have to encourage the student, to join the January of the entrepreneurship. So funding is very important. A small scale of funding in the grant in the beginning is very important. And then we collaborate with different partners to the Cyberport and also Science Park. Then we can continue collaborate. And also with hotel opportunities, everything I think is pretty well. But one thing is, I think also we need to put more efforts, especially in health tech and bio. So that would be very different because that a lot of the time and also resources. So I'm glad in the recent policy address also mentioned the patient capitals. I think we need especially to nurture very deep tech early stage projects. And other thing, I think also talent. We also talent. So government also have mentioned in the policy address how to attract the talent. In our ecosystem, we have a very good the 5 top 100 universities already. So we attract a lot of the students, to admit in these universities, through the tech. So how we can also invite the talent from the have experience the business sector or industry sectors to join. I think government will also thought about that. So I think this is also the direction we are working and to form team to have a good potential startup. And the third point I want to mention, I think Hendrick also mentioned that how we need to collaborate with mainland our nation more. I think everybody will agree that Hong Kong is lacking of the industry, especially big corporations in different industries. So that is the reason why PolyU in this last 2 years we form about we target to form about 15 research institutes in different cities in mainland China, but 10 already is running. So we focus on different industry, how we can closely collaborate with the local industry to translate our research, technology, and also we nurture our startup there. That will have a more direct, action and implementation to commercialize our project. So I think government is doing very well on this holistic arrangement. And I see the future is how we can effectively to use this funding and encourage more talent and our youngest to join in this industry.
Well, thank you. It sounds like there's definitely a lot of resources that startups could leverage from the government side. Now, as we've heard in previous panels, times have been quite tough for venture startups, entrepreneurs all over the world in the last couple of years. Have there been any special arrangements or schemes that the government has pushed out to help startups to be better equipped to weather the storm? Now, it looks like things are starting to turn, but has there been any policies or any arrangements that are aimed at helping startups to weather the storm?
I think that's why we have all these schemes that you want to promote more long-term investments, patience capital into the market, because we need more patience capital to actually support the startup ecosystem. That's one thing that will be missing. If we stand by on the sideline and let the market grow, what will happen is, we've been through this cycle a few times in Hong Kong in the 1998 to 2002 credit crunch, and then 2008 afterwards the credit crunch, things like that. So what will happen is in the downtime you actually have no capital into the market, no one want to do long-term investments. So all the team that actually they have idea, they want to do startup, will actually struggle to have investors. That's a problem when we are too cyclical in Hong Kong and relying on the financial market, and people are actually too short-term in terms of investments landscapes. And then what will happen is market go better, you have a strong stock market, and the market go to almost its peak, and then capital want to look for alternate investments. And then excess capital, hot money, go into alternate investments, including VCs. And then these VC funds raise at a very high market cap in the stock era. And most likely at that time, that will also flood the valuation in the VC market, where a lot of the VCs are looking at, or they have to invest at very high valuation in the startup scene. And then, that keeps going when, we are actually not investing at the best time, where you should invest at a reasonable valuation period like now. And you have to look into the gap where, the technology is evolving, but not raise money today and invest in the top, hottest AI deal today, which I guarantee will not give you a very good return. So how to provide this sustainable long-term patience money into the market is actually one thing we should think about. And government should take the initiative to encourage more long-term money in the system. So these are all these reasons behind having all these schemes coming out from the initiatives led by the government.
Great, thanks. Perhaps we could switch gears a little bit. Now there are in Hong Kong parties like Cyberport and other incubators. They do a lot to complement the policies that the government are promoting. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how these, like for example, Cyberport supports government policies for the INT sector?
Thank you. I think Cyberport or Science Park both are 100% owned by the Hong Kong government. They have one goal, to help startups to grow faster, grow bigger in simple terms. So this is something for Cyberport itself has been doing over the last 2 decades. And there are very systematic program put into place. For example, the Cyberport incubation program is systematically admits applicants in very thorough process. And if admitted, they get, for example, free rental for 2 years. They get cash and subsidy in kind for roughly 1.1 million Hong Kong dollars, etc. And they get all these support for in the incubation process, for example, training and marketing connections, etc. So this is the incubation program. And we have a Cyberport Investor Network, which we are here today with a lot of our partners here. So it is a network of investors. So it has a network of 200 partners that look at these startups. So this is an ecosystem. We have a lot of startups, maybe 2,000 startups, and then we have a lot of investors like in Cyberport Investor Network itself. So there are a lot of events being put together on a quarterly basis, on a thematic basis, to let the investors and startups to find their match. So for Cyberport, we have a particular interest in several areas. For example, fintech, AI, Web3, and that include blockchain and smart living and digital entertainment. So our startups community concentrate in these areas more. But we, as a network of investors, we will put together different events. And also we have a Cyberport Macro Fund. This is a fund of size of 400 million Hong Kong dollars. It's not a lot of money, but we are using it to attract more capitals, be it with Cyberport Investor Network or outside investors. So we have in the past history of putting $1 and attract $9 to co-invest. And this is how we have, all these years, we have invested in 28 companies. And I personally have been heavily involved in this process. And in that, we can see capital being filtered into, I think, the maybe more successful or bigger community companies. And remember, this is a 100% owned government incubator, Cyberport. So that also means it is a government as a shareholder of these startups. It is a big, actually, endorsement on the startups. So there are different programs and also accelerators. So we are having an ecosystem put in place, and with a well-run professional teams here and a lot of happenings in Cyberport at any time. So we welcome every friends here today and online to come visit Cyberport more often, not just on CVCF, and there are a lot of other events. Thank you.
Thanks, Hendrick. So this is going to be my last question, and I would like to ask Kelvin, from a more practical point of view, since you work with startups or teams or entrepreneurs from the university, how can they take advantage of these programs that are available to help with their growth and their entrepreneurial journeys?
Thank you. So yes, so I used to work in the industry for over 20 years, so before I joined PolyU. So when I see things, it's more from a commercial perspective, so that will be quite, have a big contrast when I see the project from the universities. So you may know, actually, the number one failure reason for the startup is the product market fit, especially in the environment of the universities. Usually, the professors or students, they have a project is coming from their research topics. So whether the research project have an interest of a commercial, that is a total different stories. So we always remind them, they have to look at the market. So also we have a very structured program we call a Lean Launchpad. That is a system, from the US, and then also proven in the Singapore, and then we brought in PolyU, and then we coach our, startups, professors, students, how they fine-tune their idea to be more a commercial viable, projects. So in this January, in this process, I think everyone learned a lot, and and also they will enhance their successful chance, that become easier for the next stage. The first thing, and second thing, I think also because of the reason in the universities, the lacking of the team members have a commercial sense. So building team is also our mission, how to let them grow. So we need a partner like Cyberport and also a ecosystem, very experienced business people, and they are willing to join us, to coach the startup and bring them industry experience and, to go together. So forming the team is very, very important, and also the harmony between the team members. Can they go along with each other's, how to grow? That would be another important things we do. And of course, after that, if you have a good project, it's viable, have a team, and also that is, we bring them to match with the industry and also the investors. So once they they shape up their projects, so we also will coach them how they pitch to the investor, how they pitch to the industry customers, and also to plan for their development growth in a business perspective, in a technology perspective, and also we leverage all the resources from the government, from the universities, and also in different opportunities from the partners. So this is what our office, KTO, doing. So and also, of course, without the ecosystem partner, we cannot be successful. So not only KTO doing, but also we collaborate with different partners in the industry, investments, and also governments. And then we are growing right now over 500 startups, and half of them, they are tech startups, and also we're 4 unicorns. So we are not only at that stage, but we're seeing all the opportunities from the government, and today all the speakers, they mentioned all the variable points. So we will going forward to to build our startup system, and also capture all the opportunities. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think that's all the time we have today. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.